Republican lawmaker Adam Kinzinger is facing backlash by other Republican lawmakers and Trump loyalists for being one of the few in the right who were willing to hold Trump accountable for his actions. Now there's word that he's facing backlash from his own family members, and he shared some details about what that's like. Now, Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois has faced death threats, name calling, and disownment from members of his family for being one of 10 Republicans to vote to impeach Donald Trump earlier this month. And during an interview with Politico, he told reporters that it's really difficult. I mean, all of a sudden, imagine everybody that supported you, or so it seems that way, your friends, your family, has turned against you. They think you're selling out. My dad's cousin sent me a petition, a certified letter saying they disown me because I'm, quote, in the devil's army now. I mean, good riddance. It sucks. It sucks when it turns out that people in your life are unreasonable and they're willing to turn on you because they've bought into propaganda by whoever. In this case, it's Trump and his loyalists. But you're better off without them in your life. I mean, who cares if your brother's cousin is disowning? Like, what does that even mean that your brother's cousin is disowning you? Like, what is he, a child? What does that mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, I'm not saying who cares. I'm just saying for anyone who finds themselves in a position like this, where you decide to go with your principles and your values, knowing that it's an unpopular thing to do in that moment, it's okay, go with your principles and values, because it's far better to lose the people weighing you down in your life in order to pursue what you believe is right. And in this case, impeaching Trump, holding him accountable for what he did in inciting the Capitol riots is the right thing to do. And it's actually pretty sad that there were only 10 Republicans in the House who were willing to hold him accountable for that.
Yeah, the issue isn't Kinzinger or his family. The issue is who's going to control the Republican Party, and that means who are the actual Republican voters. And it just ain't Kinzinger. It just isn't. It's Kinzinger's brother's cousin or whatever he was, right? So look, everybody's got Republicans in their personal life, right? You know them through connections, you know them personally, etc. I don't know any sane Republicans left. Every Republican that I talk to, or anyone that I know talks to, says Fox News isn't radical enough anymore, and they're sellouts and they're fake news, and they're listening to OAN and Epoch Times, and Democrats eat babies, and etc. And if you say any word against Donald Trump, you're with the devil, and they're going to fight you to the end of time. So that's the majority of the Republican Party, and the media, since they have loved the Republican Party for so long and covered them for so long, decade after decade, they kissed Republican ass. So they just can't say what we can say. The majority of the Republican Party is with Donald Trump. I mean, 93% of them voted for him just a couple of months ago. Even after the riots, no, they're still with Trump. And they're still with Marjorie Taylor Greene. They don't disagree with her. They don't think she's crazy. They think she's a brave fighter for the Republicans. So I mean, there's a guy who told Anderson Cooper that he thought he was eating babies. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to go to that clip, Anna, but I want people to understand as you're watching it, you're going to think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. No, if you go talk to a Republican, an enormous percentage of them believe this.
And they believe it not because corporate media treats QAnon conspiracy theorists as if they're sane. It happens because we have outlets like OAN and Epoch Times that help to spread disinformation, help to spread conspiracy theories, and help to propagandize things that really should be clear cut. Right, so we'll talk about that a little more, but here's a little taste of what a QAnon conspiracy theorist previously believed and felt the need to apologize to Anderson Cooper about.
Did you at the time believe that high-level Democrats and celebrities were worshiping Satan, drinking the blood of children?
Anderson, I thought you did that, and I would like to apologize for that right now. So I apologize for thinking that you ate babies. But yeah, 100%.
You actually believe that I was drinking the blood of children?
Yes, I did.
Was it something about me that made you think that?
It's because Q specifically mentioned you, and he mentioned you very early on. He mentioned you by name, and from there, if he also talked about, like, for example, like your family. But yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, like, people still talk about that to this day. There were posts about that just 4 days ago. So some people thought you were a robot.
You really believed this?
I didn't just believe that. I, at one stage, believed that QAnon was part of military intelligence, which is what he says. But on top of that, the people behind them were actually a group of fifth dimensional, intradimensional, extraterrestrial, bipedal bird aliens called blue avians. I was so far down in this conspiracy black hole that I was essentially picking and choosing whatever narrative that I wanted to believe in.
I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, but again, not radical fringe. Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks that there are Jewish space lasers that start fires, and she's a United States congressperson. And guys, this is happening all over the country. The reason you're not like, so now you've heard probably a lot about QAnon, but you haven't heard the details. And my friends just 2 weeks ago found out what the QAnon people actually believe. And they were floored by it. They couldn't believe it. Now, why haven't they heard it? Because people in media don't believe it. They think, no, that's gotta be only 4 people in the country, right? Because they don't meet real people. They don't just, I'm being honest with you, they never meet real people. So it's not that they're actually robots and hence never meet real people. No, they just don't meet average voters, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. If they ever talk to Republican voters, they'd know that a huge percentage of them believe. Look here, deprogrammer Anon is one of our members, and he wrote this in just now as we're doing the story. I've lost 2 brothers and a mother-in-law to QAnon, and there's no looking back. I haven't lost any sleep over kicking insane Nazi wannabes out of my life. Who cares about that guy's brother's cousin, referring to Kinzinger, okay? Now, the important part of that message is he lost 2 brothers and a mother-in-law to it. Almost all of us know some Republican that now believes in QAnon. And they believe that Democrats and Democratic leadership drink the blood of babies, eat them alive, and harvest their brain juice. There is no amount of warning I can give you that would be sufficient for the trouble that is gonna cause. If you think Trump and all that MAGA and QAnon stuff is gone, no, it's festering and festering, and that wound is going to break open over the next 4 years. I'm very worried in horrific ways.
I don't know what the right answer is, Cenk, because we need the fairness doctrine back, something that Ronald Reagan just tore up when he was president in the 1980s and 87 specifically. The fairness doctrine provided some regulation to ensure that audiences got both sides of the story, right? And it wasn't even like super strict. It was just a way to ensure that people watching a news show were actually getting accurate news. Now everything is super deregulated. Companies, news outlets are either under the umbrella of a giant corporate conglomerate, or it's the Epoch Times and OAN, and it's the Wild West out there with what ends up on social media. And social media is set up to specifically be a filter bubble, right? Anything that goes against your preconceived notions is tuned out, is taken out of the algorithm, and you exist in this, echo chamber where all these crazy beliefs just keep getting repeated, and they keep getting even more extreme. Unless we're willing to actually tackle issues like that, this is just gonna keep getting worse. Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is. It's frustrating, and
Yeah, so I have a slightly different take on that. I don't actually agree with the fairness doctrine. I know that that's not a position supported by a lot of people on the left, but that's a much longer conversation. I think the main issue is that the mainstream media is not telling the truth to people, and it's driving them into the arms of crazy conspiracy theories. We're gonna end on LMG15, one of our members. He said, "Does Hallmark have a sorry I thought you drank baby blood card?" And that's where we are today in the insanity that is America. All right, post games next. Hit the join button below on YouTube, tyt.com/join, everywhere else. We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.